Hey guys, check this out. This is the video for Juan No. He came into the lab. Dude's got an awesome business he's running, helping everybody out with their training, their longevity, all these things just to optimize them as humans. So we were super excited to have him in. And I want to talk through what his data looks like on our app so that if this interests you at all, that you would check it out as well. This is not your mom and dad's app. This thing is super cool, unique, in-depth, provides a lot more insights. And because we own it internally, we are constantly updating it, adding all kinds of cool new features. So this is Juan's main profile. So if he's looking at the app, or whatever in his profile, this is what he would see originally up here. All right, we got the fun little drop a photo in, give it the comic book viewpoint of it that we do for every athlete. So he's got his score up here where it has in his different profile his overall breakdown. Out of 100 on all of these are scored in the percentiles out of 100. So in the different metrics that we currently have that we're monitoring for him, all combined, he's in the 62nd percentile. Now, that includes the most elite of the elite. You could sit and go, well, but like, yeah, but that's not like, you know, this guy's very healthy, he's very strong. Yeah, there are more metrics we want to get in there, right? We're going to be adding lots of different things. I've created this as an elite track and field coach that has coached 7 national champions here in the last 5 years in the local metro area that works with many of the best track and field youth athletes, not just in Iowa, but in the Midwest and even around the U.S. now. So when we're looking at this, we've been expanding this, and as Juan and I have worked together, we've come up with some cool ideas to help it grow. But this is his data. We've added a daily recovery readiness. A lot of people use something like Whoop, straps, and everything else. But we didn't want to overly yet get too invested in the APIs. It's things we're looking into, but those can get clunky and they control a lot of the access. Instead, we're going to be having where you can just literally upload the screenshot. So it's one extra step, but you can bring your own, right? So it's kind of BYOD, bring your own data, right? And so the daily recovery readiness, we're going to add more things, sleep, HRV, training load. It's going to continue to grow. Now, everyone has these, right? Whoop started this a few years back, and now all these apps kind of have them. But our algorithms are constantly updating and changing as we're seeing athletes that utilize our platform and what that means. Okay, so we are, just kind of looking at this as new. So that'll be something Juan will get a chance to be trying out. Is being able to see what his daily recovery readiness is. All right, he'd have today's workout. If he had a workout in there from his training calendar, it would show what it is and what he's got on the docket. So we might even add things like full today's schedule, where it might give you ideas around nutrition and things like that as well. We can see those are things that are available up in here. We have his physiology portal, all right, where we can look at his current skill set, all right, his current skills, where we can see, I'm going to go back over there. We can see he's got his, we have anaerobic battery. That's one he's got to come back in. I got to kick his butt. His friend tested with that one so we could see it. We've got, and that is, we can look at it here real quick. That is the finite amount, slide that over, of high intensity work you can perform above critical speeds. When your lactate starts accumulating, what's that, how much power do you have remaining in the tank? Aerobic power, the critical speed, the maximum intensity you can sustain without purely depleting your anaerobic reserves, okay? So for him, that was right around 612 per mile, okay? We have the different evidence points on here, okay? So on what he did in our testing or whatever to get that. So he's in the 65th percentile for that. Velocity at VO2 max, about 550 per mile, okay? The lowest speed at which he reaches maximum oxygen uptake. We could give him his actual number if that's valuable, but ultimately what we're looking at is where do you fall in the percentiles, and maybe we need to start updating that around goals and things as well. We're looking really strongly at finding a user base that we have some different opportunities to showcase, hey, what are they looking for? And we're very excited to be partnering with Juan on that. We have our anaerobic threshold. Again, that shows us the point where it's lactate threshold too, the intensity where lactate production exceeds clearance exponentially. So if you're using a lactate reader or whatever, the lactate in millimoles per liter is rising in the blood. We do a lot of that testing in our lab with lactate meters. His is around 7-minute pace. His aerobic threshold, the upper limit of purely aerobic metabolism for easy, steady running. His is very low. That's where his fat metabolism stops at quite a low pace, closer to a walk for him. So you can see that's where one of his lower numbers is. And we did not test his max velocity, so we'll have to do that next time he's in the lab and see where he stacks up in that regard as well. Our athletes utilize the racing portal. So while he may not have a recent result, we plugged in that, okay, I don't know, he could run 6 minutes for the mile, right? So it could give a live split strategy, the remaining anaerobic batteries, things like that. It does not have a history or profile for him or anything, so in this regard, but our athletes would have a lot of data in that, okay? So we can pull up different races. We've got an even longer distance platform that has 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon, and so on. So if you're looking at longer races, and we have a sprint platform as well. The training portal, this is where a lot of the magic happens. Let's say he was running that mile race, all right, and it was giving him that predicted time. We could look at where his primary limiters are, and his is aerobic power. We can click in and see that, understanding the performance bottlenecks, okay? For the mile, the aerobic power carries the highest weight relative to his current ability. His profile indicates this area is less developed compared to the demands of that race distance. The capped effect, because that's the limiter, improvements in other areas will have diminished returns. They'll get bottlenecked, okay? You'll see capped warnings on other sliders until that bottleneck is addressed. Unlocking your potential, improving your aerobic power yields the highest ROI, return on investment. A 1% gain there translates to more time dropped than a 1% gain anywhere else. So let's say we're over here, we're improving aerobic power. Look at those gains, 10 seconds. All right, 4% gain. We got 15 seconds and so on. Now, look at that. Awesome. All the way up to 5%, almost 17 seconds. We're going to reset that. So let's say instead he's like, well, I want to train hard intervals, hard anaerobic training. All right, we're going to go here and almost nothing's happening, right? We're totally stuck. All right. Instead, we have to unlock it through the aerobic engine. Okay, so as we unlock it, we'll see these gains improve. All right, he has no anaerobic energy listed in his profile right now, right? So that's something that once we add either through race results, if he was running 400s, 800s miles, or through a test, okay? So those are things we can add in that we could see with other athletes, and we would see this change. And so this gets capped unless we solve this. You can see it won't go up anymore. It's stuck at 2.5. But if we add here, now the increase is happening. So if he had an anaerobic battery number, we would see the impact. All right, here are his paces, aerobic power targets. Okay, it's got it in miles an hour for the treadmill, 400-meter splits, etc. The top is in minutes per mile, but the miles an hour I think helps people that do treadmill, moderate aerobic threshold. Aerobic power, anaerobic capacity, anaerobic sustain, anaerobic finish, and max velocity. So these are different paces that we would utilize for him as well. So then we could go in, we could look at his progress portal. Okay, if he's updating things in here, again, he's just got one test in, but you would see the new test recorded. What does it tell us? Okay, physiological trends. Okay, what is his aerobic power? His velocity max, his anaerobic battery. If we had another test, then we would start to see the trend lines. Race progression, same thing. We could create a goal. No goals yet, but we could start aiming for goals, whether that's improving VO2, improving race performance, lowering body fat, things like that. Okay, so we go back to the performance profile, and it has all kinds of cool things. We add in race results. We can look at our training calendar, right? So we could go in here and like he's got nothing, but we could go in on today's and put in a workout, right? We could select a workout from our library, maybe tempo and mile pace. All right, he's got his aerobic metrics in here because he tested. So we're going to go at threshold, and we're going to say we're going to go 90 to 95%. It's in minutes per mile over there. We could change that to per 400 if he's on the track and he wants to do it per 400, per kilometer. Okay, not everybody's here in the US running, so sometimes it helps to have that. Okay, per 100 if maybe we're doing shorter reps. All right, we got manual pace entry if needed. Okay, so anyways, those are some of the numbers that we have. All right, we can change all of these sets, reps, cool downs. We've got a library worth of things. We could change the cool down and all this other stuff. We're going to cancel. All right, so those are some of the areas that we can benefit from there. We've got AI ability in here as well. Pretty cool stuff. So again, some really unique features that we continue to hope to utilize our community to help us make it better all the time. We can click here for pace targets for an easy analysis. A real quick screenshot would give you all of the different pace targets you're looking for. We can look at percentages. You can change it to show things like percent of VO2 and so on. Okay, so We've got that as well. We could look into things like the nutrition plan where he could go in here. It's got a general plan for him. If he put in his workouts, it would tell him when he needs higher levels of carbs versus protein and so on. Okay. You could generate a specific plan and it'll load all this different stuff. I clicked it without adding anything new in, so don't overthink it. But it gives him the timing, the carbs, all those things. Okay. We can go back again. It's generating something that doesn't exist, so don't stress about it. This is what I see overall for our athletes. As we're looking, this is our main dashboard and everything. So pretty cool. If you're a coach or somebody as well, this would be a great opportunity for you guys to utilize this new app. Just getting out there, just getting on the cusp. So would love to have some new users. Looking forward to having you guys being part of this process and this journey. Can't wait to hear from you. Either go through Juan, reach out to us, but we'd love to connect. All right. Thanks, everybody.